area of trapezoid. Before we talk about area of trapezoids, what do you remember about area of triangle? So area of triangle, the formula is area equal half of the base times height, or another way to do it is base times height divided by 2. Why are we doing this again? Why is it base times height divided by 2? Because you do know a rectangle or square is base times height. If you divide it into two parts, you have a triangle. So let's look at this one. Norma has an A-frame cabin. The back is shown below. How many square feet of paint will she need to cover the back of the cabin? So the base is 25 and a half. The height is 15. We will have to find half of that number, or we have to divide it by 2. So if you multiply, I need some space. If I multiply 25 and a half, which is 25.5 times 15, 5 times 5 is 25, carry to 2, 25 plus 2 is 27, carry to 2, 10 plus 2 is 12. Space holder, 5, 5, 2, 5, 12, 7 is 8. Don't forget the decimal point. It's in a tenths place, 382 and 5/10. Then you divide that number by 2. 1. How many 2's go in 3? How many groups of 2 go in 3? 1 time. How many groups of 2 go in 18? 9 times. How many groups of 2 go in 2? 1 time. How many groups of 2 go in 5? 2 times. How do you get rid of a remainder? Add another 0, bring it down. 2 go in 5. So it's 191 and 2,500 square feet, or feet to the power of 2 or square feet. So you will need to get enough paint to paint 191 and 2,500 square feet. So today we're going to talk about area of trapezoid. A trapezoid is parallel only in has only one set of parallel lines. So it could look like this. This is called an isosceles trapezoid, or most of the time I see them as this. This is called a right angle trapezoid, a right trapezoid. I call it the boot. So here's a right angle. So it has one set of parallel lines, while these would intersect. See, these would intersect and meet up with each other. So the area is the average of two base lengths times the height. Another way to do it, there's a couple ways you can do it, is this way. If it looks like a right, most of the time they do look like this. They could look like this too. But in this one, if it is a right trapezoid, what two shapes make up a right trapezoid? A square or rectangle, and a triangle. So if you knew this base and this height is base times height, plus, then you could do, if you knew this base, this is the base of this one, and then this could be another base right here, then times the height and divided by 2, or half of that. So if I wanted to decompose or break down a trapezoid, you can get two types of polygons or shapes out of it, a rectangle and a triangle. Can you get it out of this one? Yes, you can. You see a triangle right here. You see a triangle here. So put them together, a rectangle and two triangles. So I can do the base, I guess base 1 times height. That's the area of this one. And then I would have to find the base of these two by probably subtracting base 2 minus base 1 times this height divided by 2. So same thing. But you know what? There is another way to do it without decomposing so much, because there's a lot of thinking there. You could just use the formula of half of B1 plus B2 times the height. What is B1, B2? B1 is the base. If you flip it around, it would sit on this base. B2 is the other base. You add them up together because you're finding the average of it. Because you know, a trapezoid is really, if you look at it, can be like a rectangle. So if you take parts of this and put it right here, you're sharing it. So you see a rectangle right there. And then you're multiplying the height by it and half of it. So it's half of the base 1 plus base 2 times. Another way that it's written, it could be this way. I prefer this one. Actually, I prefer both. And they're both good. I mean, whatever you want to do. Is add up the two bases times the height, divide by 2. But think about it, isn't half really dividing by 2? So either one, whichever is more easy for you. So a trapezoid, let's draw this. You can either draw it as it didn't say which type of trapezoid. A trapezoid has a base of 6 and another base of 4, 6 and 4 meters. And the height is 3 meters high. Be careful. This is diagonal. This is not any height right here because when you measure your height, you stand straight up. So find the area of this. So in this one, what they did is they added the two bases. 4 plus 6 is 10. Half of that, so half of 10 is 5. Then they multiply by the height of 3, 15 square meters. If you do not like it this way, you could have done it this way. Add the two bases, 4 plus 6 times the height is 3. That is 30. Then you divide by 2 is 15. So sometimes I like this one because when you do this way, half of the two bases, you're using less number, like you're breaking it down faster so you can do more mental math. So let's begin this. What are the two bases? 10 inches plus 12 inches. What are the height? Ooh. Straight up, 8 inch. What is the area of the trapezoid? So area is, you add up the two bases, 10 plus 12, times the height, which is 8. You divide by 2, that's one way. Or if you don't like it that way, you can do half of the two bases, 10 plus 12, times the height, which is 8. So again, you're just plugging in numbers. You're substituting the variable or letters with the numbers. So again, what's the formula again? It's half of B1 plus B2 times height. So let's look at this one. What's 10 plus 12? 22. Half of 22 is 11 times 8 is 88 square feet. What happens if you don't like it this way? You already do it. 10 plus 12 is 22. 22 times 8 is... That's why I like the other one. It's mental math. God, 22 times 8 is 16. 176. Divide that into two parts, then you have gotten 88 square inches. Next one. Sorry. Find the area of the trapezoid. What are two bases? 16 and 10. What is the height? 10, because you stand straight up. What is the area of this? So I'm going to use half of base 1 plus base 2 times height. So let's substitute. The two bases are 16 and 10. The height is 10. So 16 plus 10 is 26. Half of 26. Half of 26 is 13. 13 times 10 is 130 units squared. Next one. A trapezoid has a base length of 24 and 20 centimeters. The height is 5 centimeters. So again, what is the area of the trapezoid? You do half of base 1 plus base 2 times height. So I add up the two bases. The two bases are 20 and 24. Then the height is 5. So what's 20 plus 24? It is 44. Half of 44 is 22. 22 groups of 5 is, I believe, 110 centimeters square. If you don't like it this way, you have done it. Base 1 plus base 2, which is 44 times the height, 220, divide by 2, 110. Still get the same answer. All right, next one. Define the area of the trapezoid to solve the problem with the solution or answer of 128 units squared. Did 2 answer this question correctly? If not, what is the correct answer? Let's see. The two bases are 6 and 10. She added up. She's multiplied by 8. And as you got, 16 times 8 is 128 units squared. Sound good to me? Wait. Something's missing here. I mean, she added two bases. She multiplied by height. I feel like, what's missing here? Oh! Again, if you think about it, in this trapezoid, a trapezoid, if you decompose it, a trapezoid is really another rectangle. Have you noticed everything started off as a rectangle? Like a parallelogram is a lopsided rectangle, so it's base times height. A triangle is half of a rectangle or square. So that's why it's base times height divided by 2. And then for trapezoid is you add up the two bases and find the average. That's why you add up the two bases, you divide by 2 and find the average, and then you multiply it by the height. So it's almost like rectangle again. There's no half here. I just noticed that. What's the average of the two bases? So if we're going to do half or divide this number by 2. So half of 16 is 8. 8 times 8 is 64 units squared. Or you could have done 128 divided by 2 parts, 64 units squared. And I guess that's it. So how do you find the area? Let's go back here. How do you find the area of a trapezoid? Pick which formula you like. Again, you don't have to memorize these. I personally don't memorize it too. You are given a reference chart during the STAR examination or in April. And you'll be given one in class too. Its area of trapezoid is half of the basis of the two bases times the height. Because remember, trapezoid is really another form of a rectangle. Decompose it, you'll see a rectangle. So is you find the average of the two bases times the height. If you do not like it this way, you can do it this way. You add up two bases times the height, divide it into 2 parts. You still get the answer. Area of trapezoid.